new topics.
Guys,
Sir,
you
we can
ask
have the
me.
Awesome.
tricky questions, sir.
Okay. And Toroglin is saying that, sir, kindly revise the previous session. What with others?
Oh, okay, sir, go for that.
Okay, 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 okay.
It's
So,
okay with the revision, but don't skip. But we don't want any topics to be skipped. This is
no, 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 no. I will not skip any of these. Don't worry.
okay, sir.
In first hour, we will revise our previous important options only, important features only, and in our next hour, we will be having our new points. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So in the sketch, you see we have sketch starting option here. Sketch. We have smart dimension. We have geometries. We have some modification functions, and these are some relational and other options. Okay, this is our feature manager tree. As you know, this is our view tab. In that we have zoom to fit option, we have section view option, we have view orientation option, we have display style, and no, appearance and other options also. So as usual, we click on sketch to start the sketch, and we have three planes here, of which we have to select one for the sketch. So when we select, it gives normal to our screen. So after that, we have to make our screen sketch as per our requirement, and we have to constrain them. So as you can see, every sketch at its initial phase, it's in blue color. So blue color indicates that the sketch is under constraint. So when we constrain it fully, it transforms to the black color. That black color indicates that the sketch is fully defined. Now I am making this sketch fully constrained for your reference. You can see I have drawn a horizontal line and made this line a construction line using this tick option of construction line, so that the our arc should be in horizontal manner. Now I am giving the radius value to it, and now I will give the slot length from origin. You can see we have our sketch completed in fully defined state. So as similarly to this, we can go for rectangle, we can go for arc, ellipse, circle, spline, polygons, lines, and all. So now we will see trim and convert entities. So in the trim, you have multiple options like power trim, corner trims, inside out, outside in, and more like that. So most easy tool is power trim. In the power trim, you just have to drag on the area that we want to delete it or we want to trim it. So it's automatically trims the intersecting lines. Okay. So convert entities, converted entities is actually a feature which can be used when we have a 3D body. Now you can see I have drawn a circle with diameter of 70 mm, and I am extruding that up to 10 mm. Now you can see, suppose I want to have a other sketch of this circle which is dependent on the diameter of this earlier body. So what I will do, I will go to convert entities and select the edge of this body and click on OK, so that this will create a new sketch that is fully dependent on the earlier body. So when I modify the diameter to 100, the sketch will also be modified. I have to press Ctrl plus B or this icon to see the changes. Now you can see the sketch is also updated. So this is a convert entities feature. Now similarly we have our offset feature. We can select the edge and we can offset inside or outside by giving a offset distance. Similarly, we have mirror entities. In mirror entities, we can have our sketch or some part of sketch mirrored with help of reference line, so that on both side of reference line there is a symmetric sketch. Now next option is linear sketch pattern. In the linear sketch pattern, we have direction 1 and direction 2, and we can select the sketch or part of sketch as entities to pattern, and we can give the number of instances and distance between them, so that we can have a linear pattern in one or two direction. Similarly, for the circular pattern, we have circular radial direction in which we can have our sketch patterned. In the below option, we have move entities. We can move with the help of any moving point. We can copy that. We have rotate. We have scale entities. We have stretch entities. Now let's see the mirror and type of patterns. Let's say I'm creating a reference line to mirror. Okay, I am making this line construction line, and this line is at distance of 150 mm from origin. Now let's say I want to mirror this circle with respect to the dotted line. So you can see when I select a dotted line, you can see the preview in yellow color and click OK, so that both the circles are symmetric to the center line. Now if I change the distance to 100, you can see change is effective in both the direction. Now let's say I want to pattern this 50 mm diameter circle. So I will go to linear sketch pattern. I have my direction 1 as x-axis, direction 2 as y-axis. I just have to select the entities to pattern, and I have to give the number of instances here, and in the above box I have to give the spacing between them. You can see I can have my linear pattern in one or two directions, like this, or I can change the direction using these arrows also, or using this icon also. Now we have circular sketch pattern. In that we have to mention the radial direction using a part of circle or axis of circle, and we have to select the entities to pattern, and we can have our instances in equal spacing or in a angular spacing. We have to give the number of instances here. Now in the 3D, in the features tab, we have our material adding functions as extruded boss, revolved boss, swept boss, lofted boss, and boundary boss. And we have our next tab of material removing functions. We have similar functions of extruded boss like extrude cut, revolved cut, swept cut, loft cut, boundary cut, and hole wizard. Next to that, we have our modification functions like fillets, chamfers, linear pattern, sketch patterns, circular pattern, mirrors, rib, draft, shell, wrap, and intercept. Next to that, we have our reference geometry in which we can add a plane, axis, or coordinate system for our reference sketch. In the curves, we have different type of curves like composite curves, curve through XYZ point, like projected curve, like helix and spiral, like that. So now let's go through the some of the important functions here. So I'm now going for the swept option. Now for sweep or for a loft and boundary, we have to make a profile and a path in a different sketches. So now I have to select the plane for my sketch. Now you see I have to make this sketch pairs with this sketch. Now you can see it is giving me warnings because it is coincident also and pairs also. So for that, now you can see I have my profile here and path here. Now in the sweep I have two options, profile sketch and circular profile. So I will go for profile sketch in this, and you can see I have selected my profile and path also. I can also go for thin feature in which I can give the thickness so that we can make a hollow part. I can change the direction of thickness. I can change the value of thickness. Now you can see I have made a hollow part like this. You can see this is a hollow part. Now let's say the let's have lofted feature. Again, I am making this sketch pairs with the path sketch. Now you can see we are going for a lofted feature. In that, we will select our two profiles. Now I will select the guide curve. You can see it will give some errors. For that, I have selected a center line. Now you can see I have this green controls to control my profile twist. So I am making this approximately equal. Now you can see we have this lofted feature here, in which we have one profile as rectangle, other as elliptical, and we have our path as a arc. So similarly, we can have our swept cut, lofted cut, and other functions like that. Now I will have a look at hole. In the hole tab, we have different types of hole like counter sunk hole, counter bore hole, tapping hole, clearance hole. So now we have to select a type of hole here, and in the type I can select the type of fastener, type of bolt, so that it matches with the its standard sizes. Now I have to select the size, and in the end condition I have to select the distance which I want to make the hole. So let's say 20 mm depth hole. Now in the position tab, click on the surface which you want to make a hole, press on normal view, or you have shortcut control plus 8. Now you have to dimension this hole with respect to origin or with respect to edges. Now you can see the hole point is turned black, so it means that the hole is fully constrained. Now you can see, let me change the view style for you. We have created a counter bore hole like this. Now we will go for next function, which is sheet metal, I guess. So in the sheet metal, we have our base flange option, we have convert to sheet metal option, and lofted bend option in the first tab. So I told you about the two different approaches in the sheet metal. Can someone revise that for me?
So we can draw base flange and use edge flange for constructing a sheet metal.
Okay, and the other?
Yes, we can use convert to sheet metal.
Yes, yes, yes. Correct. So in the base flange, you can have a closed sketch or open sketch to create a base flange. When you create a base flange, it has some sheet metal properties added in the feature manager tree. Okay, now let me create a sketch for our base flange. We can have our direction. We can have our direction to also. We can define the sheet metal thickness here, also the bend radius here, and K factor and other factors here. Now I'll mention the dimension as 100. Now click on OK. Now we have edge flange, which is we have to select the edge and we can drag in either direction, and we can define the length here, and we will just done with our edge. We have our some positional changes here according to its bending position on the sheet, and we have some other options for changing the direction and all, changing the angle like this in the edge flange. We can also change the edge flange profile using the edit flange profile option. Now you can see we can change the profile of our base flange also. Now similarly we have meter flange. In the meter flange we have to draw a sketch on face of the edge to make a flange profile. So when we exit from that, you can see it is giving some error in that. So likewise we can have our meter flange. I'll try it again. There is something mistake, I guess. So hem is like turning the edge of flange like this to give a safety to the end user. In the jog, we can draw a jogged bend using a single line to have a two-directional bend. In the sketch bend, we can have a bend using a single line. But it will give error because we have hem there. So I have to delete the hem and extend the sketch to this edge. So now I can have the sketch bend and select this sketch, select the fixed edge, and you can see I have bended my sheet. Now similarly we can add a virtual cross break to our faces like this by just selecting the face. You can see we have added a cross break to it. Swept flange is similar to the meter flange, and in the corner treatment we have a different type of corner treatment like closed corner, open corner, welded, break, corner relief. We have seen the sheet metal gusset in which we have to select the two faces and we can add a gusset, and we can have operating parameters here for length, width, thickness and all. You can see we can add the sheet metal gusset here. Tab and slot is for locking the two different sheets, which feature creates a locking mechanism for the two sheets. Now for the vent, we can have a sketch which is concentric circles and ribs. We can create a vent using that. Now flatten view gives us the flat view of the total area of sheet metal. And now using a unfold, we can unfold our bends by selecting the fixed face and a beige to unfold. Now you can see I have unfolded this bend. Using the fold, we have to select the bends to fold and click on OK, and it will rebend that face. Now before going to surfaces, give me 2 minutes, and till that time you can try with your examples.
Sir?
Yes?
Sir, how to do notching in weld?
How to? Sorry?
For 1 millimeter, I think.
Sorry, I didn't get your point. Please repeat that.
Sir, how to do notching?
Notching. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's say I want to notch this edge by 1 millimeter. So I'll make a sketch on this face. Give it a 1 millimeter dimension. Give its position from the end. You can see the sketch is fully defined, and I can now cut that and link that to thickness. You can see this is a 1 millimeter notch. Okay.
Can we do notching in
Okay, sir.
edges, sir? Like the edge which we fold.
Sorry.
So can we do notching in the edges, sir? Like
This edge.
in the edges. Yes, sir. In the edges. In Azimuth, this This part was not, sir.
Sorry.
So in the assignment, the edges were not the like not in the middle of any sheet metal. Correctly in the edges there were notches, sir.
Okay. Let me open that. The sheet metal day 3. This one.
Yes, sir. Correctly the notching in the edges where we can hold the sheet metal.
Okay. So they have notching. So you can use the approach like this. You can have your base flange like this. Let's say 50, 150 here. Sheet metal base flange of 2 mm thickness. And now let's suppose I have my sketch here at 50 mm from the left edge and 50 mm from the right edge. So I will give a distance 50 mm. I will cut that extrude to the thickness okay. Now I will make other sketch. I will make a simple line. I use center of this circle to the center of this circle. Now I'll go to sheet metal sketch bend, and it is asking me for the fixed face. Now you can see, actually let me decrease the sheet metal thickness here. So thickness is left to 0.5 and radius is 1 mm. Now you can see this is the condition. Okay.
Okay, sir, understood.
Okay.
Now let's go to the surface. Similarly to the our 3D tab, we have extruded surface, revolved surface, swept feature, lofted feature, boundary. In addition to 3D, we have fixed surface here. We have free form here, plane surface, offset, ruled, and these are some other functions which are not present in the 3D. So basically surface has zero thickness and we have to give thickness to it after our design is finished. Can someone tell me which function is used to join or merge two different surfaces? Anyone? Similar to the or 3D, we have extruded, revolved, swept, and that all here. So you can see we can have our extruded surface here. In the swept one, again we will need a profile. We will need path for that sweep. In the lofted one, we will need a profile which are either two or more than two. We will need a guidelines or center lines to guide the path. In the boundary surface, we have direction 1 and direction 2, in which we will need a guiding lines and our boundaries. In a field surface, we only need a boundaries, and also in addition to that, we can have a guiding lines to that. In free form, when we select any surface, we can move it as a free form tool. In planar, we can add a planar surface to the closed boundary. In offset, we can have offset surface as mentioned the distance. In the ruled, we can have a surface either tangent, normal, tapered at some angle to the selected surface. In the flatten, we can flat the surface by some extent using a fixed face and bend or edge so that we can flat that. In a fillet, we can add a fillet to the merged surfaces. We cannot add a fillet on two different surfaces. In delete phase, we have delete and patch, delete and fill, and delete. So when you use the delete and fill, it fills the gap between the gap created due to the delete function using a outer or its surrounding condition. And when you only delete the face, it will delete that area. Now in the extend, we can extend the surface by selecting the edge and giving the extend distance. Now using trim and untrim, we have standard and mutual. We can select the trimming tool and we can trim the two surfaces. In the knit surface, we can join the 2 or 3 multiple bodies and we can create the solid out of that. In a thicken menu, we can add a thickness to our body. We can change the direction here. You can see this is now converted to solid body. In the curves, we already seen that we have different type of curves here. Now to the weldments, we have structural members in which we have pipes, square tubes, rectangular tubes, I section, C section, L section, like that, and we can select the sketch segment to create a weldment profile, weldment path. Also, I have taught you how to create a custom profile and add it to the library of SolidWorks. Also, we have trim and extend. We can trim the intersecting profiles or intersecting members using the trim and extend function. We have end cap function, which we can add the end cap to our profile We have gusset function to add a stiffener or rib in a weldment. We can define a weld bed and other are the same. Now in the evaluation, we have interference detection, we have measure, we have mass property, same as assembly. Now let's go towards the assembly. And in the assembly, we have insert components here, and in the insert, we have 2-3 options. Actually in the assembly, we have 2 approaches. Can someone tell me the name of those 2 different approaches in the assembly?
So we can insert using insert components or from part itself we can choose a drop down menu near save button and come to assembly, sir.
Yes. Okay. In the mate type, we have standard mate, we have mechanical mate, we have advanced mate. In the standard ones, we have coincide, parallel, concentric, tangent, like that. In the advanced one, we have symmetric, width mate, path mate, and 2-3 more. In the mechanical ones, we have gear mate, we have rack and pinion, we have screw, hinge, so that. Okay. Now in the component pattern, we have seen the linear pattern and circular pattern is and mirror component is same as our 3D. The new thing here is we have pattern driven component pattern in which we can have a pattern of anything using a pattern feature in the part 5. In the smart fastener, we have automatic fastening solutions in which the screws, nut and bolts are automatically gets added. In the move and rotate, we can have a standard drag or we can have a collision detection and physical dynamics. In that we can have a dynamic clearance also. Now we have exploded view which we can use to have a exploded view and a collapsing view or create a funny animations using a SolidWorks. Now in the evaluation tab, we have interference detection. We can change with the interference. We have clearance verification. We can check the clearance. We have hole misalignment checking. We can check the misalignment of the hole. We have measurement tool. We have mass properties tool. We have some assembly visualization and performance tools like that. Okay. Now going towards the drawing. In the drawing again there are lots of things. We have to select the paper size, click on OK. Now you can see in the annotation tab we have dimension, we have nodes, linear node patterns, we can add balloons, we have surface finishes, we have weld symbols, geometric tolerances, center marks, blocks, center line, area fields, tables are remaining. We will see that in few minutes. In the view layout, we have standard 3 views, model view, projected view, auxiliary view, section view, remove section, detail, broken out, break view, and crop view. Okay. In the sketch, we have similar as our sketch. And in the sheet format, we can edit this sheet according to our choice, this title block. In that, we can drag this, we can drop this, or we can add a new line using the sketch like this. We have to make this line thicker. That is a bit lengthy process. Okay. Now in the drawing we have different type of views, section views, detail views. We have already learned about those different type of views. Now we will be having our focus on the table types, in which we will have the most used type by the mechanical designer. We will use a whole table, we will use bill of materials, we will use weld table, we will use bend table, and we will use a cut list also. So weld, bend, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 types. Okay. So you can see we can add a whole table when there are lots of holes in our part and we cannot add manual directions to that hole, because it will create a non-aesthetic drawing, and what we say in our local language that uh, hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. The messed up drawing. Okay. So to prevent that, we add a whole table to our drawing. In the whole table, we have to define a origin so that the table measures the x coordinate and y coordinate from the origin for our position of the holes. So now let's go to the whole table. For that I have created a one part to have a whole table example. Now you can see we have lots of holes here. So I will create a new drawing on A3 size of paper. I will add a front view. I will add side view. Give some basic dimensions to it. Now I will add a whole table. So you see we have our datum option here. We can select the origin as the NA point, but usually I select the bottom left point. In the this holes category, we have to select all the holes one by one. Now when we did finish the selecting hole, we can select the numbering type to ABC or 1 to 3. I have selected 1 to 3 and click on OK. Now you can see we have our whole table here, in which first column is of tag, second is X location, third is Y location, and last is of hole size. Now you can see we have our hole number 4 at 27.266 in the X direction and 155.30 in the Y direction, and 25.45 diameter hole throughout the thickness. You can see like that. These are the numberings of the hole. This was about whole table. Okay. So do you have any doubts in the whole table?
No, sir.
Yes.
No, sir, we are able to understand the concept.
Sorry.
We are able to understand the whole tables.
Okay. The you see whole table is is for easiness of dimensioning, easiness of understanding the mechanical drawings. So let's say if we had 20 number of hole on a single plate and we have to give manually the dimension for each hole, it will create a 40 dimensions, so that view will be not looking good to our eyes, which is not aesthetical, which is more uh, difficult to read that which dimension is for which number of hole and all. So to prevent that things, prevent the errors in manufacturing, what we have a whole table functions. So using a whole table, now we go to whole table function. In the table, in the datum function, we have to select a origin. Now you can see it has marked X and Y direction. In the holes, we have to select the holes which we want to have in our whole table. Currently I am selecting less to save my time. Now you can see I have selected only 5 this time, and I can change the tagging type from ABC to 1 to 3. Now when I click OK, you can see the table here. Now what the table means, let's see that. In the tag column, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means these are the numberings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the X location, we have, let's say for number 2 hole, we have dimension 87.66 in the X direction. So that means from this edge, the second number hole is the 87.66 in this X direction. Okay. Now for the Y location, we have 75.30. So that means the number 2 hole is 75 mm 0.3 in this upward direction, that is Y direction. And for the diameter of that hole, we have 25.45 throughout the thickness. So that means that this 2 mm, sorry, this 2 number hole is 25.5 mm in the diameter, and in the depth it is 10. That means it passes through all the thickness. So basically this is how we understand or read the whole table. Okay, now
Yes, sir.
okay, so now let's see the other type of table, that is cut list. So when you have to add a cut list to your drawing, you have to enable a weldment function from the part. So to enable that, in the weldment tab, we can enable this by clicking on this weldment function. Now let's have some details about the weldment cut list. So you can see, sir will share this PDF with you and you can read the details about weldment table. Weldment table is similar to bill of material, but it is used for the welded structures. Now you can see this is like some frame of some machine or that, and it has 11 different type of pipes and structural members. So you can see, to avoid misconception and all, we can mark those bodies using a balloon feature from 1 to 11, and in the table we will have our item number 1. Let's say this item number 1 has two quantities, and the description is that it is square tube of 30 mm by 30 mm of 2.6 thickness and having the length 334.8 mm, like for all the members. Now let's go to our screen and as currently we have a single item, so our cut lift will be having a single item. So we will have our both the examples for single item and for multiple item also. So now let's create a drawing. Places a front view, top view, and in the table you can see the Wellman cut list. I have to select the view, click on OK. Now you can see this is item number 1, quantity 1. It didn't mention the description and length because this is not a standard structural member. Okay, so now we will be using a standard structural member for our drawing. So you can see I will use let's say C channel for this edge. Pipe for this edge. Okay. Let's say I use a pipe for this edge. Again, I use a C channel for this edge. Okay. Again, I have SP beam for my this edge. And also I have a rectangular tube for my remaining edge. Now to save the time, I will not be, this is just for example, this is not any part. I will also not be using a trim and extend for intersecting parts. I will now directly create a drawing. Now you can see I will enter the views like this. Now when I insert the cut lift by selecting a view, you can see now I have to give a numbers to it. So I have to make this view large, so I will click on that, scroll down, and in the scale I will select the 1f to 2. So to give a number, we have to go to balloon, just select this part in the drawing and drop it, select and drop. Now you can see we have our balloons 1 2 3 4, and in the item number we have 1 2 3 4, each are quantity 1, and this is the description that this is a pipe of this diameter, this thickness, C section, this is their dimension, SB beam this dimension, rectangular tube this dimension, on each length of each section here. So this is basically a weldment cut list. Any doubts in the weldment cut list?
No, sir.
Okay. So now we will be having next table diagram, which is bill of materials. So now I will now open the assembly from my earlier practices. So you can see this is the assembly. So when I go to drawing, place their views, I select the bill of material and select any one of the views, click on OK. Now you can see this is a bill of material, and again we can have our balloons here. Now to save my time I will use a auto balloon. Now you can see we have our balloons here from 1 to 17. Now you can see one is cylinder head screw M12 by 45, so that will be shown here, and also the quantity, also the description. Now let's say for part number 12, it is number is 300681 and it is named as top flange and quantity is 1. So now let's check the part number 12. You can see it is a top flange and quantity of 1. So this is basically a bill of material. Any doubts in the bill of materials?
No, sir.
Okay. Now our next table is bend table. So for bend table, so for my bend table, I have this sheet metal part. You can see it has several bends like this, this and this. So we will add a bend table for this sheet. So it is basically not a single sheet. Those are different bodies. We can see the body highlighted in blue is a single part. This second is single. This is single. These are singles. So what we will do, we will see a simpler one example so you can understand the better. Now let's say this for this part, okay, let me create a fresh drawing for you with a fresh example. So you can see we have this type of sheet metal part now. So now going to drawing. Now you can see when you have a sheet metal view, you have one extra option here as a flat pattern. So in the sheet metal, always remember to insert the flat pattern view. So drag that view here. Now you can see the flat pattern view is a self-explanatory view for a bending. Now you can see it is showing bend upwards 90° with radius of 1, bend upwards 90° with radius 1, bend downwards with 90° radius of 1. So like that. Along with you can add a standard views also like this. Now going toward the bend table, when you go to bend table, select the flat pattern view, click on OK, and it will give you a table. Now you can see it is marked. This is a fixed face, and it has marked the bend by A, B, C, and D. Now what the A indicates that for this bend you have to bend it down with angle 90, and this is a inner radius. Now let's say for bend C you have to bend upwards with 90° for inner radius 1. So this is basically a bend table. Do you anyone has doubts in the bend table?
No, sir.
Okay. So can someone tell me the different type of tables we have learned today till now?
So whole table,
Yes.
then you have seen weld table, then bend table, then weldment table.
Okay. Now what is remaining?
Then we have
Now,
also on bill of materials also. Then bill
yeah,
of
we have,
materials also we have seen, sir.
yeah, the only remaining is weld table now. Okay. Now for a weld table, I have to open a file. Okay. So you can see I have simple weldment part here using a square pipe and some fancy style of end cap to it like this on both the ends. Now let's create a welding table for that. So we have to insert that in our sheet, place some views. So can anyone has the idea which tool can we use to shorten the length of this?
Scale.
Now scale will shorten all the length. Actually, it will make it small. We have one view type to shorten its length.
Breakdown, sir.
Yes,
Broken cut.
we can use the break view like this. Now going to tables and value table. Now you can see it didn't add any rows to the column because we didn't have mentioned any welding symbols in that drawing. So for that we have to mention the welding symbols. Now let's first do that. This edge. Now in the weld symbol, we will be having our fillet weld of 2 mm on this edge, also this edge, this point. Okay, that is enough for now, I guess. This also and this also. So this is the way you can add a welding symbol. This indicates we have a fillet weld of 2 mm on this slant edge. Okay. So now let's go to the weld table, select a view, click on OK, and still
Oh.
it's not selecting the welding symbols. Usually the weld table is like this. So what it will do, it will add all the information from all the symbols in one table, like the item number 1, item number 2. Let's say for item number 2, it will mark 2 there, and weld side is 3, symbol is fillet weld length is 40 mm, material is carbon steel, and of 2 quantities, like that. So now let's say for 5 number, we have weld size 2 mm, fillet weld length is 15 mm, carbon steel, and 1 quantity. But somehow it is not having the weld table there. Okay, so now for the next 20 minutes we have our doubt sessions. You can ask any command or any tool which you didn't understood, or you can ask about any doubt or any trickiness in any of the previous assignments. Yes.
Sir, why we use punch table, sir?
Punch table.
Yes, sir.
Actually, the punch table is for, let's say we have a part, in that we have different type of punch geometries, dimples and all. The stuff like forming tools, there is some advanced stuff in the sheet metal. We have some ruvers, we have some lances, we have dimples. So for that we can add a punch table, and it will summarize the info of all that formed sheets into that table. I will show you one example on the internet. You can see these are the forming tools. These are some lowers, some dimples, some lances and all. You can see it has tags A4, C1 and all. It has origin X and Y, and it will show you location from the origin, and it's the angle, that it is horizontal or at 90 degrees to the horizontal angle, to the specific angle, sorry, the specific axis, like this.
Okay, sir.
Anyone more? Ask your doubt, guys.
So then can you elaborately explain about the first angle and third angle projection again, sir?
Yes, sure. So let's imagine quadrant, the quadrant we use while drawing a mechanical drawing, or we used in the mathematics. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrants. So in the first angle projection, suppose we have our body in the first quadrant, so that its horizontal plane is in is at the is below the body, and its vertical plane is behind the body, and we imagine that we are observing from the top side. I will show you. This now now you can see this body currently is in first quadrant, and as you can see, its horizontal plane is below the geometry and vertical plane is behind the geometry, and observer is observing from these directions. So when we have our front view on our vertical plane, you can see it is the projection of frustum of cone on the vertical plane, and the top view from the top side, it is a projection of two concentric circle on a horizontal plane. Now, but we place this in the third quadrant. You can see the horizontal plane is above the body, and in this case, the object is in between the observer and the projection plane. But in this quadrant or third angle, you can see the plane is between object and observer. So the top view will be at top of the front view. Are you getting my point?
So where is the observer in third angle projection, sir?
Actually, let me show you the other example. Now you can see the difference. In the first, for the front view, we have to look from this side to get a front view, and for the top view, we have to look from top. Now you can see that in the first angle projection, we have object in between plane and in between our eyes of the observer. So you can see when our projection rays are traced to the plane, it intersects first the geometry and then to the plane. But in this case, let's say we have to make our top view. So we have the plane in between observer and geometry. So our rays of projection will firstly go to the geometry, and then they will come at downside of this plane. Okay, so that's why in the third angle, top view as at top position and front view as at bottom position. But in the first angle projection, front view is at top position and top view is at bottom position. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Or you can, I will suggest you, you watch this video. This video, I'll share a link with you actually. They have good to say animation and you will understand better with that. And watch this video when the session is over.
Okay, sir.
Anyone?
Sir,
Yes.
could you repeat how to add a design to the design library?
For Wellman profile.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, sure. Okay, let me share my screen again. I hope it is visible now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so for adding our custom Wellman profiles, first thing is that you have to make a sketch. So let's say we add a hexagon this time. Okay, so we are drawing a hexagon. I am making that perfectly constrained. So you can see the hexagon is perfectly constrained now. Now for our location points, for the alignment, I have to add some points at each point and each midpoint. Now you exit the sketch and you have to select the sketch from the feature manager and click on save as. So in the save as menu, you can see the second option, library feature part. So save that library feature part on your desktop. On a desktop. Give that name. Let's say hexagon 100 mm. Okay, so save there. Now you can close this part and now return to our part on the desktop. Now you can copy that part from here. Go to your PC in the local C drive. Go to program data under SolidWorks. SolidWorks 19. No, 90. Okay, sorry. Yes, in the program files, you see the program files here. In that SolidWorks Corp, in the SolidWorks Corp, SolidWorks, in that language, in that English, and in that Wellman profiles. In this, now you have to create a new folder. Give them permission. Let's say MISC miscellaneous. Okay. In the miscellaneous, add again hexagon for hex for hexagon. And now you can paste your file there, give the permission, refresh once, exit from there, return to software, create new part, sketch, go to weldment. In the structural member, you can see the MISC here, the hex and the file, and in the groups you can select the sketch. So you can see we have our hexagon now, but this time we didn't make it hollow because we did not have offsetted edge and give it thin feature. Anyone other option, other doubt?
Hello, sir.
Sir,
Yes,
would you explain the model view and auxiliary view in drawing, sir?
model view and
Auxiliary view.
yeah, okay. Let me open one part. Let's say we have sheet metal part today. Model view is basically a view in which we create a projected views like this. So you can see the model view. We can browse any model from here and we can have the view here. But also, let's say this is a multi-body part. We can go to next. We can change the view. Let's say, okay, I have to enter the multi-body part there. Okay, let's suppose this is a multi-body park. It has three different type of bodies. This top flange, this pipe, and this bottom flange are three different bodies. So now let's go to drawing. And now you can see I have this palette, but I will not use this to explain you. In the model view, you can see the part is selected here automatically. But if it is not, you can browse it and select the part. Now go to the next and you can see you can add a view directly. You have these standard views like top view, front view, bottom view, side view, left view, and back view. So you can directly place them. You can drag them using a model view. But let's say you don't want this in assemble state. You want the view of this bottom plate separately. So in the model view, you will go to the next. You will click on select bodies here. You will select the base flange. Click on OK. Now you can see you have the view of base flange isometric view. You can, using a projected view, you can project that view like this. So this is basically a model view. Now for the auxiliary view, let's say you have a face, slant face or some angular face in the different direction, which is not clearly visible by either front view, side view or top view. So in that case, you have to draw auxiliary view. Let me have example to you. Now you can see this face is 45 degree, and again I will make it slanted with 45 degree again. Now you can see this face is angular in both the direction. You can see we cannot see this face from the top view, from the front view, from the side view. We cannot gauge the total length of that view, this edge. You cannot gauge the total length of this edge in any of the view. So for that we want to have this type of view using the face which is parallel to our screen and perpendicular to the our front or the normal plane. Okay, so for that we use the auxiliary view. Now I will show you how to add that view. Now I will do my regular work. I will add some standard views here. Now you can see we cannot have a. I'll show you. Okay, let me delete this first. You can see this is front view, top view, and the side view. Okay, so I will measure the length of this 209.08 here, length of this 76.37 here. Now I will place the auxiliary view. I will select this edge, and you can see this view here. Okay, now I will measure the length. Okay, that's not that. I have made a mistake in auxiliary view. In the auxiliary view, select this edge. Okay, now you can see the length is not 209.08, it is 395 point something. And also for this slant, you can see the length is 69.71, not the 37, sorry. So this is why we need an auxiliary view to have a complex situation like this example. Okay, anyone, any more?
Sir,
Yes,
would you show section view in drawing, sir?
sorry.
Like if you do a plot and in the tab in upper portion there is a section view, we can do the section, sir. The
Yes,
same will be done in drawing, sir.
you basically want the section view. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Section view. you can see this is a section view. Okay, now I will show you how to add it. I'm opening the part, this again. I will create a hole on that. Not a through hole, it is only 10 mm in depth. Okay, now let's say I put some standard views, but you can see this hole's depth is not visible in the standard views. So you have section view option here. In the section view, in the vertical, select the vertical, select the center of circle, click OK, drag outside, and you can now see the cut view from this section view AA line. You can now see the depth of hole. So this is basically a section view.
Then what is about a detail view, sir?
Detail view is basically a zoomed view. In detail view, let's say we have this as very small and we want to zoom it. So we can zoom it like this.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So now we will pause today. Tomorrow we have our session for doubts, and if you have any queries in your assignment, we will have that to our next session. We will see some photo view 360 in 10-15 minutes, and rest will be for assignment solving, doubt clearing. That's all. Okay.
This.
Ashwin
Okay.
sir, can we
Yes.
pause?
Yeah, for today we can end this.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Guys, please hold on. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Feedback about today's session, please.
Recap was useful. It was fine.
Okay. Any others? ஹலோ நான் பேசுறது கேட்குதா? பேசலாமா இல்லை டைம் வச்சுன்னா கிளம்புறீங்களா? One sec, I will stop recording.